In the last 10
Yep.
years, last 10 seasons, how many times do you think USC has won 10 or more games?
I'm gonna guess 3.
Once.
Once,
Once.
only once. Jeez, I didn't realize it was that. Like, it's been bad,
2017.
but I didn't
Yeah.
realize that it's been that bad.
2017, they won 10 games. Their win total that year was 10. That was the second highest expectation we've had for them in the last decade. The final year of Kiffin, they had a 10.5 win total and went way under. And Orgeron took over at the end. People, I think, kind of remember that season and that story. That was 2013. Expectations are always very high for USC. They always have a win total of, at least 8, 8.5, usually higher. So it's not that the 9.5 is like crazy for USC. It's just like a little on the crazy side. Also, they were terrible last year. And it's not just that they were terrible. It's like, because it's like the Florida argument. Florida was terrible kind of because they quit. The recruiting averages stayed the same. They just stopped playing football. The players didn't. They're less talented than they were under Urban Meyer or something. But it's there. You don't really see the downward spiral in the 4-year recruiting averages with Florida, which makes me believe that if you swap coaches, you could end up having an uptick. Also, their win total is 7, and this is 9.5. But with USC, just to give you the 4-year recruiting averages for the last 8 years, and I'll start from 8 years ago so you really get an idea. So this number is basically like the 4-year average of their rank, their class's rank among all college football teams. So if you were 1, you had the best class. Ta-da, there you go. So the 4-year recruiting average, we'll go 2015, which was the Sarkisian to Clay Helton first year. Their 4-year recruiting rank was 8, which is an extremely high number, obviously. Their talent score that year was 2nd of all teams. Actually, I can just do talent score. It's easier than recruiting because that folds everything in, right? So here's the talent score for USC for that since that amount of time. So they were 2nd in 2015 after many single-digit finishes, as you would imagine, going backwards, especially back through even the Pete Carroll era. So 2nd in 2015, 7th, 5th, so still at an extremely high level. Back end of the Helton era, 11th, 10th, 14th, last year 24th, by far the low in decades, the lowest for USC. And this year, the same, 21st. 4-year recruiting average, still as bad as it was the last couple of years. Returning production, slightly less than the conference average. Lost a bunch of all-conference players. Schedule still tricky because, again, they don't do cupcake non-conference stuff. They schedule Fresno. They schedule Notre Dame, part of their rivalry, obviously, the last game of the year. So it's just it's not that I think USC's bad or that this isn't going to work. I think it's definitely going to work. I just don't know if in year 1, 10 wins is the baseline average expectation we should be having. And it makes perfect sense with the glitz and glamour of the acquisitions that expectations would be too high. And then they'll go 8-4, 9-3, which should be viewed as an accomplishment based on how bad they were last year. To take a team that won 4 games and win 9 games the next year and get back on track would be a tremendous, applaudable accomplishment, and it won't be good enough for anybody, and it'll go under the win total. That's the amazing part. They improve by 5 games. They go 9-3. They could win the Pac-12 going 9-3 too, by the way. Depends on obviously how a lot of the games go, Utah especially, and how Utah plays against everybody else. But they could go 9-3 and win the Pac-12, and I'll win. And I have the under, and I'll win. I'll win that bet. Think about how crazy that level of expectation is in the first year of all of this. So that's my only thing. I think this is going to work. I like Lincoln Riley as a coach. He also coached at Oklahoma, where every single year they're basically in national title expectations, whether he's the coach there or not. So how much of it's him and how much of it is Oklahoma? We can kind of argue about that. But I think he's a good coach. Everybody in the pros seem to want to hire him. It's got to be worth something. I think Caleb Williams is a really exciting quarterback. I think Addison's a really exciting wide receiver, who one of the best receivers in the country. But that alone doesn't get you this, in my opinion, in the first year. Now, next year, they go 8-4, 9-3. They score 1 million points this year. And they have a great recruiting class. You want to start building that 9.5, 10.5 win total in the market going forward with him? Great. Makes perfect sense. No problem at all. Start to get more Lincoln Riley's players in there too, back-to-back recruiting classes. Totally understand. And I know they're trying to really jumpstart things by having Caleb Williams and Addison be there. It's just I just can't get to this number with he didn't recruit 70 new players. That's not, although to be fair, Oklahoma, where he left, apparently will have 50 new players this year, which is insane to think about. But it's not, it can't all happen at once. They're trying to have it all happen at once, and maybe they can do it. I can be wrong, of course. I don't think anybody knows for sure what's going to happen here. I'll play it on the side of I think they can be a lot better, but a lot of the lot better outcomes I still get. I still win those betting under 9.5. I just think the number's a little crazy.